Well, hello there, and thank you for joining me for today's session. It's going to be, as you always know, very informative. But before we get into it, please remember to like, share, subscribe with this video, and as we discuss, don't forget to leave a comment. It helps. Okay, let's get into it. But for today's session, unlike the previous session, I need you relaxed. I need you preferably lying down, whether you're in a bubble bath or you are in bed or you are having your morning stretching yoga session. Whatever it is, I need you relaxed. In the previous session, you were in the gym, you were working out, you were trying to figure out how to build your perfect body. Today, we are fixing the soul. Today, we are doing the inner work. So, for that, I need the softer you. Okay, if you are comfortable, let us begin. First, I need you to take a deep breath. This one may be triggering because we are talking about, the mental health. And with that, some feelings may come up, and that is okay, which is why I wanted you to relax. Have you ever realized that you've been surviving for so long that you forgot what it feels like to actually live? Like you are constantly tired, emotionally overwhelmed, mentally drained, but somehow still functioning. You smile, you show up, you handle responsibilities, but deep down, you know you are exhausted. And the scary part about survival mode is that eventually it starts to feel normal. That's when it gets dangerous. You normalize overthinking. You normalize emotional burnout. You normalize carrying pain silently. But healing asks you to stop surviving and finally start caring for yourself. So today, we are talking about leaving your survival mode era behind. We are talking about mental health, therapy, journaling, forgiveness, healing emotionally, and becoming the version of yourself that no longer only survives, but lives. And trust me, this conversation is long overdue, so buckle up. So part of the hard work that you need to do in order to be rewarded with your soft girl era is leaving your survival mode era. But first you have to be able to recognize it. How do you know you are in survival mode? What does it look like? People think survival mode always looks dramatic, but sometimes it looks like constantly being busy, emotionally shutting down, avoiding your feelings, sleeping too much or not enough, isolating yourself, overworking, pretending you're okay when you are not. And sometimes you don't even realize how much pain you are carrying until your body starts responding to it. The anxiety, the exhaustion, the irritability, the emotional numbness. Because mental health isn't just in your head, it's in your body too. Your body is always communicating with you. You just have to listen. And one thing I've learned is that just because you are functioning, it doesn't mean you are healthy. Some people have high functioning and deeply unhealthy characteristics. And that is why healing matters. You need to recognize when you are like a hamster on a wheel, always running, always getting things done, but never really going anywhere. Some of us may think we are healing while we are actually distracting. What is the difference? A lot of us think healing means we are staying busy, when it actually means we are stopping and taking a look at what is wrong. When we are distracting, we stay busy. We are constantly scrolling endlessly. We overwork. We jump from relationship to relationship. We avoid silence because silence forces us to confront ourselves. But when we are healing, healing requires honesty. Healing requires you to stop, look, and think. It requires sitting with yourself long enough to ask, why do I react this way? Why am I constantly anxious? Why do I struggle to rest? Why do I fear abandonment? And listen. Listen to the responses that you come up with. Become self-aware because self-awareness is uncomfortable. Healing will introduce you to the parts of yourself you have ignored for years. But avoiding yourself will never heal you. Now you see why I needed you comfortable today? Because we are having the hard conversations. So now you may be asking yourself, yes, I've identified that I've been distracting and keeping myself busy, but I want to heal. Where do I start? Well, the short answer is you start with my favorite thing in the world, and that is therapy. Therapy is not weakness, and therapy comes in all forms. Some people may choose to sit in front of a therapist. Other people may choose to do what you are doing right now. Put on a podcast of a therapist who knows what they're talking about. Other people choose journaling. There are so many, but don't worry, we'll get into it right now. First, I want us to normalize the word therapy in all its forms and all its versions. Because so many people grew up believing that therapy means something is wrong with you. Something is mentally wrong with you. But in all honesty, therapy is one of the healthiest things you can do for yourself. I myself have been in therapy for years and I am a huge advocate for therapy. Yes, a therapist that goes to therapy. I have to practice what I preach, and I do. So trust me when I say I know what it is like carrying years of pain, trauma, anxiety, people pleasing, heartbreak, family wounds, and expecting yourself to unpack all of that on your own with little to no tools. No, this is why you need support. And therapy is there for exactly that. Not to fix you because there's something wrong with you, but to give you the necessary tools to not only unburden yourself, but to unburden yourself in a healthy manner that will leave you feeling like a newer version of you. Therapy is the Roman Empire, I still say. Therapy is about learning yourself, understanding your patterns, learning healthy coping skills, understanding your emotions. And one thing therapy teaches you is your reactions make sense based on what you have experienced. Let me help you out with that. Say you are going through a traumatic situation. Your body will react in a manner that will be reminiscent of the first time you experienced trauma. So if you experienced trauma as a child, as an adult, how you will respond to trauma will be in the same way that 12-year-old you, 10-year-old you, 11-year-old you, or however old you were when you first experienced trauma. And only therapy can help you process that. Only therapy can help you understand what is going on and how best to heal. Therapy isn't the end of it. Therapy is just the foundation. And in therapy, you learn so many things that you get to do outside of the therapist's office that you now get to do on your own. For example, journaling. Journaling has changed my life. I know some people think journaling means writing in your journal, dear diary, today I had a bad day, this person didn't talk to me. No, that was high school stuff. This is deeper. This is emotional processing. Sometimes your thoughts feel overwhelming because they are never released. They get so jumbled up in your head and you do not know how to process them. Writing things down helps you to understand yourself better. You start noticing patterns, triggers, emotional cycles. You start realizing what you prioritize depending on what you journal or put down first. You realize I'm harder on myself than anyone else, and you keep abandoning your own needs. Journaling creates a space for honesty. You can cry on those pages, be angry on those pages, dream on those pages, heal on those pages. And honestly, some of your deepest healing moments come in private, when you feel like there's no one else looking and no one else listening. So by now, you have gone through therapy and your therapist has helped you figure out what is happening. You keep a emotional journal where you jot down every emotion, every trigger, every episode that you might have. And then you realize, if I am going to let go, I need to forgive some people. And forgiveness is for you. It is mostly for you so you can release yourself. Forgiveness is hard, especially when people hurt you deeply. I always say one of the most hardest things is forgiving someone who's not even sorry. But unhealed pain keeps you emotionally connected to that someone. And forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes forgiveness simply means I refuse to let this pain control me anymore. Because carrying anger for years is heavy. And healing asks you, do you want peace or do you want permanent emotional attachment to the pain? And let me also say this, you need to forgive yourself too. Now I know. We joke about that a lot, but it's very important. Sometimes you ignored the red flags. Sometimes you gave someone way too many chances. Sometimes you made mistakes that led to your own hurting. This is why you need to forgive yourself and say to yourself, I am never going to put myself in that position ever again, because I have the power and I have recognized my power and I'm going to exercise it. So remember, forgiveness doesn't always mean access. Sometimes you just have to forgive someone and then never see them again. Now, I'm sure you are thinking to yourself, this is not the soft girl era I ordered. This is not what I thought it would be. Why am I crying? Why am I being emotional? Because healing is not aesthetic. Healing is not pretty. Unfortunately, on social media, we don't talk enough about how sometimes healing requires you to go through the trenches. Sometimes healing is canceling plans to rest. Sometimes healing is setting boundaries. Sometimes healing requires outgrowing people. Sometimes healing can be lonely, especially if you haven't figured out what is the best place for you. It can be exhausting because growth requires you to let go, requires you to forgive, requires you to go to therapy, it requires you to do journaling and everything we've been talking about. All of these things require letting go of unhealthy habits, unhealthy coping mechanisms, unhealthy versions of yourself. It requires you to go to gym, like we spoke in the previous session. It requires you to eat healthy. So stop reacting to everything. Stop chasing validation. Stop abandoning yourself for acceptance. That is the root of healing. And now that you've recognized where you are, it's time for you to move forward. And that requires you to create a safe space for yourself. The therapist, the journaling, going to gym and all of those things, they are preparing you equipping you to become your own safe space, because no one is coming to rescue you. So you have to do the rescuing yourself. At some point, healing becomes less about revenge and more about becoming the person you needed. The safe space, the emotional awareness of yourself, the calm version, the healthier version. The journey changes everything. You start choosing healthier relationships, healthier eating habits, healthier gym habits, healthier conversations, healthier people around you. You realize peace feels better than chaos ever did. And one of the most beautiful things about health is you stop needing everyone else to save you, because you finally learn how to take care of yourself. Congratulations, Superman. You are saving yourself. Wow. If you have stuck with me till this far, congratulations, because it shows that you are choosing yourself. You have been emotionally exhausted, overwhelmed, mentally drained. So it's now time for you to actually reward yourself. I want you to do this for me. I want you to let go of your survival mode. Healing is possible. Peace is possible. Growth is possible. But it starts with choosing yourself. So in the comment section, I want you to comment, today I am choosing therapy. Today I'm choosing honesty. Today I am choosing rest. Today I am choosing boundaries. Today I'm choosing healing, even when it is uncomfortable. And trust me, it goes beyond just making a comment in the comment section. One day you will look back and realize that deciding to care for your mental health changed your entire life. So, before we bid ourselves goodbye, I want you to make that comment. And I also want you to make one commitment. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it is making an appointment with therapy. Maybe it is just writing in a book that I forgive myself, and then you list the things that you're forgiving yourself for. But I'm going to need you to start. Just start. And if this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder too. Because healing becomes easier when we realize we are not alone. Thank you for sticking with me. I will see you in the next session. Love you. Bye.